Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 53 of the International Pentagon Challenge, and things are really starting to get kind of exciting, at least from my perspective, given that I'm playing, because we're starting to reach that stage now where we've qualified for the African Cup of Nations, but the World Cup qualification games are going to be coming real thick and fast. So I'm really looking forward to them all. Yeah, no need to really take too long with the update. You guys saw in the last episode we won our first World Cup qualification game 4-0 against Burkina Faso. A few weeks later, Amar Siem, who obviously plays for West Ham, he's our main left back, really is out with sprained ankle ligaments, and Hani Hassan is also still, well, he's no longer injured right now. I could have perhaps called him up, but given the impact that Islam Sabir had in the last game, I kind of feel like he deserves to keep his call up, even though he is only kind of our third choice winger / striker style player. And my cat has just walked into the room. Hello, kitty. He's struggling to... What he wants to do is jump onto my desk, and then I've got a window behind my monitors, and he likes to sit on the window, but the green screen's in the way, and now he's between my feet. I'm going to stop recording now, and I'll come back once I've gotten rid of the cat. Okay, can confirm the cat is now gone. So, but yeah. He did really well, this lad, in the last episode. Obviously, only valued at 45k, only 19 years old as well. But to be subbed on in an important game like this and make a massive impact with 2 late goals, fair play to him. So yeah, that's it in terms of our squad, in terms of the players that we're missing. Of course, a big favourite of mine, Adil Ramsey, now returns. He's a lad, obviously plays on the left wing, real good player. He's a guy that was playing in China, but he's actually now on loan at Cardiff, playing in the EFL Championship. So that's nice to see, because it means that he'll stay fit in the off-season in China. So without further ado, we have already qualified for the African Cup of Nations, so this isn't too much of a significant game, but as we know, they beat us 4-3 the last time we played, and if we can grab a win, it will probably then leave us in a position where we will then be favourites to finish top of the group, which could affect seeding for the African Cup of Nations group stages. So let's get revenge. So in terms of how Mali are looking to play, it's that same kind of 4-3-3 with the 3 strikers that we saw them play the first time we played them in the group. And to be honest, we kind of set ourselves up, and we're kind of naturally set up to take advantage of the wide areas, which is really an area you can hurt this kind of tactical approach. And we did hurt them. We just conceded. Out of the 4 goals they scored, I mean, the penalty wasn't a penalty. The first goal was from a ridiculous angle, and then the second one was just a 35-yarder that our goalkeeper really should have saved, but it was just a wonder strike in the end. So we should be able to, now on home soil, really beat them. Ramsey will, of course, move to become a left winger. We'll set both our wingers on attack, and we will look to attack them at home and take advantage of the space they will leave behind in the wide areas, because even at points where they had the lead against us last time out on home soil, they were still throwing their fullbacks, their wing-backs forward. So from a tactical perspective, it's a very forward-thinking Mali side, but I feel like the counter-attacking football we play, we can take advantage of exactly that. So in terms of instructions, just a little bit of tweaking. We've raised our defensive line a little bit. I've not gone to higher because they do have 3 strikers, which is devastating this year. We've increased our width from what it's usually at. We're not looking to retain possession. I want to grab 1, 2, 3 early goals and just put the game to bed if possible. and I've put run at defence on just to kind of encourage us to try and turn defence into attack, and if we can get the ball to the wide men, encourage them to really run towards a byline. On the back of that as well, both wingers will be playing with attack duties as well as the fullbacks. So let's see how we do. Here we go then. For some reason, we've got Boohoo Man advertisements in Cairo, but hey, that's how Football Manager rolls. I'm not actually sure whether or not they've released a ad boards mod for FM18. They probably have, because it's like they just recycle it every year, I think. But yeah, have we got it on key highlights? We have it on key highlights. That explains a lot. So we've happened to miss the first 10 minutes, but hopefully we'll be treated with a goal early on. Yahya with the shot, and it goes just wide of the post. And if we take a look at the stats so far, it does look like we've just about edged it as things currently stand. Shauki plays a ball through towards Farouk, who, well, it's not the best cross in the world. Really looked a bit more like a bit of a dodgy shot. But what's important is that we are able to kind of penetrate that narrow back four of Mali. We are able to play the ball wide and get the ball into the box. And as we can see, we do have a lot of lads who can pick up the second balls, or we have the striker in Hassan Said who can try and win the odd header here and there and try and obviously get a shot on goal. Unlucky there from Ramsey. Now I think kind of as the game progresses, if it does start to become a little bit more evident that you know, we're struggling to find a goal, we can always trade out that defensive midfielder to become an advanced playmaker and move our wingers even further forward. And then we'll basically look like we're playing more of a 4-2-3-1. And we actually did it the first time we played against them, where we brought on Ramadan Subhi, and he played as a playmaker just behind Said. And that obviously kind of, you sacrifice the extra defensive man, but it helps you get another person in the final third. And when you're kind of playing attacking football, or kind of counter-attacking football at a fast pace, trying to transition from back to front like we are, it helps when you have that kind of not only extra playmaker from a technical perspective because of the quality that he can really give you with that final ball, but just that extra person available, you know, to attack with. Because there were points during that first Egypt-Mali game where we could have counter-attacked, where we had more attackers than they had defenders, but we just weren't able to really find the back of the net in the end. We probably had enough chances that game to win a game and a half, but it is what it is. Okay then, so 30 minutes in, and you know, we've had chances on goal, but it's not really been phenomenal, to say the least. So really, it's up to us to kind of see how we're going to look to change that around. So both wingers are now going to move up. Obviously, I know that positionally they might not be too fond of it, but it just means they get a little bit closer to goal, which is fine with me. And let's see what impact that can have. There we go. So you can immediately see that the wingers are pushed up a little further up the pitch. Should have really scored there, Ramsey. And they were pushed up a little further up the pitch, so when Said won that ball back, they were a bit closer to him, so it looked like he had a bit more support, which is really what we want. But yeah, we've had a lot of opportunities, you know, especially from balls into the box or set pieces here and there. Kamal's had 2 shots, I think. The one that was just sent then, and he had one from outside the box. So pressing him up, high up the pitch. And they don't really have much but the long ball to try and turn defence into attack. You can see the sheer amount of space that we really have in the wide areas, especially when the fullback overlaps. We just need to basically just grab a goal. It's that simple, really. It seems a bit lame, but we need to finish our chances. And I'm not quite sure we're not even 1-0 up there. Once again, Mali trying to play out the back, and Said should really score there. A Premier League standard striker, valued at over £50 million. And that's why I kind of feel like relatively laid back right now, because we've had enough chances in this first half to be 2-3-0 up. So the goal's got to come eventually. And if we do get a draw, that's not ideal, but we've qualified, haven't we? So, yeah. Great stuff from Farouk. And now, again, that position, Ramsey slightly up the pitch, just kind of made sure he was in the right... Oh, right position to allow us to kind of initiate that counter attack. I mean, personally, it does kind of frustrate me that players that can play left and right mid can't play slightly further up the pitch. I just think it's a bit stupid. Like, you have it in football all the time where players who are wingers play fullback. Like, obviously, as a fullback, you need to have better defensive attributes, but in certain cases, especially in the modern game, it is so often you see wingers turn into fullbacks, and they're told, look, you don't need to be great at heading the ball, you don't need to be that good defensively, just make sure you do what a winger does, just play further back and stay with your defensive line when off the ball. So it is a shame that Football Manager kind of still lives in the 10th century. But anyways, yeah. So let's get aggressive, tell them we're not happy with what we've seen, and I am going to look to change things around now. So because they've not got Hassan Bande, Abdurraouf, I want him playing, how he plays now. Getting out wide, playing like the Barcelona player he is, basically. He's been getting game time for him as well. So full back on attack. And in terms of what we're going to do for the right back, Ramadan Subhi doesn't actually look fit for some strange reason. So we can put on Mohamed Hani and play him as a fullback on support. Now, Yahya's not had a great game, and it feels like I want to put Ramadan Subhi on because he's got that kind of magical spark where he can find us a goal out of nowhere. But instead, I am actually I'm gonna go with two strikers up front because we're getting the ball wide, we're getting the ball in the box. Let's balance it up in midfield just a little bit, and let's take a quick look at Sabir. Right, only footed, pretty pacey customer. So I think we'll play him as a poacher and then just kind of change Said to more of a kind of complete forward on support. And given the fact that we're now kind of lacking that extra central midfielder, we'll just look to go a little bit more direct, clear the ball to the flanks, and let's see where that takes us. So straight off the bat, they look a lot wider now, which is disappointing for us. So we're going to have to now adapt to that. They've gone with the kind of advanced playmaker as well, so they've got an extra man in kind of the central areas in the middle of the park, which will probably help them retain possession. So credit where it's due to the Mali manager. He's changed it around. We didn't take our chances, so let's just play it out and see what happens, because with the quality we've got on the pitch, it doesn't really matter how we're looking to play. We should still be able to grab a goal if we can create the opportunity, and that's gone in. I mentioned Kamal earlier, that he's had a few kind of shots on goal and from corners, and finally, third time lucky, he's actually finally found the back of the net, and it kind of feels like we've got that goal. I don't want us to sit back on it, but we'll tell the lads to concentrate. We'll give it up until like the 60th, 62nd minute, and then maybe stick an extra central midfielder on, because we can now start to dominate this game and play less direct and keep hold of the ball a little bit better. We don't need to kind of hoof it forward like he's just done there, because we're not really chasing a goal with that level of what's the word I'm looking for? That level of urgency. I kept thinking insurgency, and I was just like, why am I thinking insurgency? But yeah, you can see now that they've got that extra man in midfield, and yeah, we're going to have to change this around because they're going to punish us otherwise if we don't really. So yeah, let's do something about this. So Ramsey, I've got to be honest, he's not had the best of games. So Sabir is going to do what he did against Burkina Faso in the last game and plays an inside forward. So we'll still have that ammunition and kind of outlet to counter-attack if we want to retain possession a little bit more. We'll play a little bit wider just so that we can kind of put them to bed, because they're a lot wider now. Tell our wingers to help out more defensively by making sure they're man-marking the right people. There we go. And obviously we need to bring on a central midfielder to kind of level things up. So now it's a case of what type of player we're going to opt to go for. And I think I want someone who can break up play that little bit better and has a bit of experience as well. So I think I am going to go for Karim Nedved, and we'll play him as a Mezzala on support like we usually do with this tactical approach. I like the Mezzala role this year. Yeah, drifting out wide and stuff, that's a nice ball, and that's not so much of a nice finish. I don't want to start toning things down too much yet, you know, in terms of moving away from the... Go on. Oh, God. Is it the crossbar? In terms of moving away from the attacking mentality. But as we can see, Mali have been knocking on the door with some of their counter-attacks. But it's not going to matter because Karim Nedved, an inspired substitution, 31 years old, but still getting in the right place at the right time to put us 2-0 up against Mali. And it looks like the revenge could very well be on the verge of being completed. So we're going to drop down now to a standard mentality. And yeah, we're going to go fairly wide. I really hate that bug. It is really annoying. It's just confusing. No, we'll go balanced. And that's all we need to do, really. That should be sufficient now. And we could grab a third, but we are going to be a little bit more negative now. Try and kind of match some of their individual players tighter in midfield. And, you know, hopefully prevent them finding a goal that essentially lets them back into the game.
A few moments later.
So tell the lads to tighten up. And, yeah, that's just happened. Ironic it happens the second I say... Like, I don't know if you guys noticed watching the first time we played Mali, but every time I seem to mention that... kind of, like, talk about them... Oh, wow. Every time I seem to, like, kind of talk about them potentially scoring, as the words were, like, coming out of my mouth, it would just happen. And it's just happened there again. Like, the second I tell my boys to tighten up, they conceded. So Mali, I think, who have a player called Mali as well, which is pretty mind-blowing, I think are on the verge of becoming one of our little bogey teams here in Africa. Nedved, can he get his second? Oh, that's a good save there from Berthe, I think is how you say it. Berthe. Don't know, don't speak French, so got no idea what the E with the little line on it means. But yeah, anyways, Kamal is going on a bit of a stroll, it seems. Plays it back to his cousin, M. Kamal. Oh, it's back with A. Kamal. And we put it out for a throw-in. Football Manager, honestly, like when you're managing kind of lower level players, sometimes can do real funny things. I mean, I say lower level players. The guy on the ball right now plays for bloody Barcelona, so you know these Egyptians aren't really low level players, but Egypt are really fascinating because you have such a mixture of players. So, like, you'll have back left winger striker guy, what's he called? Islam Sabir, who plays for Zamalek, like in the Egyptian Premier League, and is valued at 45k. In the same team, playing up front as, in our case, Hassan or Hussein Said, this guy, can't remember what he's called, who's valued at like 55 million quid and plays in the Premier League for Stoke. And like you kind of get it in real life as well, where a lot of the Egyptian players that will be going to the World Cup play for Zamalek or Al Ahly. Yet you've got like one or two players who play for like Liverpool or West Brom and stuff. It's just like you're talking about a completely different level. But it makes you wonder as well: is it that like these individual players are just at a completely different level, or is it just that these are talents that just haven't quite been picked up on yet? But I think after every World Cup, we always end up having like the odd 4 or 5 players who really, really play well, you've never heard of before. You may have heard of before, but never have really had an opportunity to prove they can do it on the big stage. And, you know, they end up going to bigger clubs. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what players kind of step it up this World Cup. It's going to be really good. It's just a shame that I happen to be going on holiday at the same time as the World Cup. So, like, it might be hard to watch some of the games, but I'm going to try my best. But anyways, so we are now top of the group, which is really perfect. Tell the lads well done. And after a bit of a disappointing first half, and credit where it's due to Mali, they tried to change it up in the second half. Our quality shone through in the end. So we have one more I think we have one more Cup of Nations qualifier. No, actually, that's it. That's it. Okay, so we have finished top of the group. That is it. We're not playing any more games. So that will hopefully affect our seeding. And of course, in the next episode, we have a much more important game where we play Congo in the World Cup 2030 qualifiers. Now, amazing win against Burkina Faso 4-0, but Congo are going to be much, much tougher opposition. So, on that note, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.